And we're back. Hi everyone. So today with me I have Dara Garrity. He is the founder of Diamond SPC, Strength Performance Conditioning, or coaching, Strength and Performance Coaching, right?
That's it.
The one. That's the one. Messed it up. And Adam MacNamee, he is a qualified strength and conditioning coach, isn't that right? Or PT?
That's right, both, yeah.
Dead right. All right, lovely stuff. So this is a bit spontaneous, obviously. So we were texting earlier saying, right, we'll just do this all of a sudden. We had the UFC in our sights, which is tomorrow evening. And I know I'm definitely looking forward to it anyway. But apart from that, like, how are you find the lockdown? Is there anything else keeping you busy?
Still doing a bit of training. I was running. I'm back from a back injury. So I had a bad back injury. But I'm coming back from that. Don't even know what it was. Got an MRI done. They couldn't really tell me much, but just coming back from that, still training, bit fed up, but the weather's making it a bit easier. But a bit fed up, all right.
Yeah.
How did you do that? What did you do to your back? Was it just training related, or
back in September? I was squatting, and I was kind of doing like a lot of volume on my squats, and I was kind of trying to jump up weight a bit too quick. But I was taking videos of everything. I used to video every training session and like watch to see, my form and different things like that. And I sent the videos of my squat to loads of different coaches who I'd respect, and like I'd obviously know myself about the form. And each of them said like there was nothing wrong with your form, like there was nothing about flexing the spine, nothing like that. But whatever happened after I was squatting, I just kind of felt tightness in my back. And of course I just kept going, kept trying to jump up weight, and caught up with me eventually. And then it was just hurt me around training. So like I'd train and I'd be a bit tight, but it would go away then. But then it just started like morning, noon and night. I would just be in pain. Couldn't train, couldn't even going for a walk, it would get really tight and shit. And I have a newfound respect for like people who, train through things like that, train through pain, and even like, overweight individuals who they're obviously in massive discomfort when they're training. Like everyone's in discomfort when they're training, like, you know what I mean? It's enjoyable when you get into it, but for the most part, especially if you're untrained, it's not a very nice thing, do you know what I mean? But I kind of had forgotten that. I kind of forgotten how hard it is. And now coming back into it, my fitness has gone down. I've done nothing for 8 weeks, and different things. I'm in kind of pain to have to work around it. So in a way, I'm kind of glad it happened. Do you know what I mean? Especially for my own, my own members in the gym and things like that. I kind of was in their shoes in the sense that I was like, right, it's not as easy as I thought it would be for everyone.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Then where are you coaching, Adam? SF Fitness, is it?
SF Fitness, yeah. It's a kind of mainly an over 45s year old gym, like, you know what I mean? There's plenty of kind of older adults, but there's a few younger people as well. So it's kind of like a good range of people. Like I'm kind of learning how to train different age groups, which is really good. But yeah, man, I'm loving it. Like I love the experience. It's a great gym. John, my boss, he's a genius. Like I've learned most of the stuff I learned from him, not college. Like, I mean, I find we might get into it later in the podcast, but I kind of find that college is it serves a purpose, definitely, but it's not.
keep on going. Hammer home.
It's an absolute college basher.
It's not like it's good, like, you know what I mean. But I find that it tends to be 10 to 15 years behind in terms of the latest
practical
knowledge
use of it.
Yeah, exactly. So and I've had a kind of lot of like run-ins in college, speaking to lecturers or tutors about things, and like you can kind of tell they don't really have the answers and they're kind of a bit waffling over it. Whereas John has lived this shit for 20 odd years, and if he doesn't know the answer to something, he'll tell me, but he'll say, I'll find out the answer, and he'll come to me. So yeah, definitely learning loads there. Great gym, and just like love working there. And then to kind of go back on what I was saying, but working with kind of older adults, you really realize who the hard people in this world are. So like I remember like when I first started training, I used to get up at like 7 in the morning to go to the gym, and I used to think I was a fucking beast. I was like, I'm an animal. trying to get up. I used to be in the gym for like say 7:30. I'd be like fucking putting up my Instagram story, tagging the time and all the up bad, like thinking I was a beast. I was like not a beast at all. Like chap, like honestly, like these, like you see, like we have like people coming in with like 3 kids, 4 kids at 6:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning, some of them, and they've just put their kids to bed the night before. Their only reason they're up at this time is because they have to be, because they have to bring
time otherwise.
Exactly. They have to bring little John to fucking badminton that night, so they can't. You know what I mean? Weekend, same thing. They've got to do lunches, all the rest of it. So they get up at 6 to make an investment in their health, and you know, out of love for their kids in many respects, and then obviously out of love for themselves. So looking at that was very eye-opening, and I was like, "What? Wow! Like these people." Like I kind of would have looked at like athletes and thought, "Oh, like they're hard," and then I kind of realized they're not as hard as I
It's
thought.
all they have to do.
Exactly, it's all they have to do. These people getting up
Yeah.
at 6 for the bare, like to literally just lift weights and get some get sweat on to be healthy. You know what I mean? And make an investment in their health. While all these other things are being thrown at them, and the coronavirus is going to be another thing that's going to be thrown at them. They're in doubt about their jobs and different things. So like, that was one thing that I really loved about the gym I'm in, because it made me kind of realize that I'm not an animal, and that these people who are raising kids and different things like that, they're the beasts of this world. And that's what I want to be in 10, 15 years time. I want to be like one of them.
Yeah, well, like, and the thing is as well, it's like people getting up that early in the morning, if they stop doing that, like it would like impact them so badly. Like the thing is, that's like their hours break from their kids. I know it's bad in the sense to say that, but it's their free time. It's not just that they feel good and physically, but they're getting away. It's that hours break, and it really sets them up for the whole day doing it that early. Like, and I know myself, like my mother, and she's 53 now, but like Pilates every day she's doing it, like during the coronavirus and everything. And if she didn't do it, she'd drive herself mad. It's like she's exercise independent, and she'd go off the walls. But she just needs it just for her own psyche, like. But yeah, 100%. Like, and I think, I know for me, obviously, because I was put in sport by my parents from such an early age, like going to train and whatever once a day, or even if it's like when I used to play football just twice a week, like it was just natural. I didn't have to push myself just because that's what I was used to. But you can see, as you said, why maybe these people are only starting exercising early into their 40s or whatever, how tough that might be, and saying that they might be overweight. And yeah, they might be kind of looking around, they're self-conscious, saying, "Oh, is he looking at me? Is she looking at me? Or I don't think I'm doing this right." But it's very tough. But the main thing is, and like my English teacher, you know Adam, Mr. Fanugel.
Good lad. Lunatic.
He always used to say, "Just do it," like the Nike phrase. And I think that's, people just need to start doing things. You can set as many goals as you want and stuff, but if you don't do it, no point.
You've got to do it. You've got to get out and feel vulnerable and fail. And like a lot of people are afraid of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can understand it's daunting coming into a place, especially some of the members we have are like quite overweight. You know what I mean? Like, and they're coming into the gym. They've never been in a gym before, like ever. Like, you know what I mean? They don't know anything about training, like whatsoever. Some of them had never played sports. You know what I mean? I find it'd be a little bit more common with female members. Maybe they would have done a bit of Irish dancing, but like it wouldn't have been a thing, especially back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, that women would exercise the way that they do now. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have been a thing, and women had kids earlier. You know what I mean? So like that kind of played a factor in it. But yeah, like learning from that is one of the best things I've ever done in my life. You know what I mean? Like, because before I got into fitness, I was never really into fitness. Really, like through my teens, I played a bit of soccer, and I used to run. I used to go for a run like once, twice a week. Nothing major, 2.5, 3 kilometers, just for the head. Like, and then when I left school, I was mad into music. When I left school, then I was kind of like a bit of an identity crisis. I was like, right, what do I do with myself? Like, do you know what I mean? And then it was only when I was like 21, I got into other training with Dara in SPG. I got into SPG doing jiu-jitsu and different things like that, and it got me into fitness. But for people who have never trained before, it has to be like real hard for them. Like,
I think that's mad. It's like there was a few years difference in it between me and you, Adam, but I think we had fairly similar like intros into sport or into fitness in general, because I was similar to you. Like, I've only known you 3 or 4 years now, and we're not super close mates or anything, but just seeing you on Instagram, hearing you talk about things, having chats and stuff, I could see whatever you're into, your music, into your kind of arty stuff. And we kind of came into sports later in life.
Yeah.
Like Nugget was saying, he was playing football all through the years as a child, everything. But like that, I was into my music, into my art and stuff. And I was, 15, 16 before I started training anything consistently. That's when I found jiu-jitsu. I got into that. And like that's why I ended up in Dublin at all. Like I had no particular interest in college. I wanted to go up. I was like, I'm going to join SUG. I'm going to be a professional fighter. Like that. That's all I was going to do. And that's why I went to Dublin. I just got so enveloped in training and everything, and that completely changed who I was as a person up until that point. But then for myriad of different reasons, chat about it later, whatever, mental health, all these different things, that's kind of gotten in the way of
really
training and stuff. But it's just cool to see or hear different people's perspectives, and like you're saying, having respect for people that don't come to sport, say, naturally or fitness naturally, to see them just trying. Like that's one of the nicest things. Like I've only recently qualified in my PT stuff, but like me and Nugget together, that's where we met doing our sports science degree. But just people asking, oh, like, why are you doing this? Like, who would you like to work with, or what would you like to do in the industry now that you have all your qualifications and stuff? And people that laugh because I'd put either end of the spectrum. I was like, I want to work with high level professional athletes or day one beginners. I like, as bad as it is to say, like, interest in working with people that think they know what they're doing is like, there's just that kind of conflict where it's just like, you're going to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you don't know what you're talking about. I'd like to just help someone that's just terrified to go to the gym, or someone that's just looking to improve on the tiny little details. It's either end of the spectrum, but I think it's just interesting to see what everyone else's opinion on it is, and like what other people's struggles are, and like just hearing you speak there about seeing people starting off and just like figuring out who actually has it tough.
Exactly.
Something I'm looking forward to.
What you said was interesting as well about like the two of us kind of like not really being mad into sport. Like I would have played a fair bit of soccer growing up and would have always been into like sporty things, you know what I mean? Like I was mad into pro wrestling and all, you know what I mean? I would have been your typical young fella. And that was sporty back then. I would have been into it, but I was never into it the same way some of my friends were. They were like, they got a gym membership when they were like 14. Do you know what I mean? I was always like, no, I'd rather play my guitar. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Sure.
But for young people, especially, kind of what I went through after I left school, which wasn't a major thing really, but I didn't know what. I kind of thought, in a way, to kind of, not to sound too dramatic, but life was over at that point, because I kind of realised that I didn't love music the way I thought I loved it. Like I liked it, but I went to the music college and I was like, do you know what? This isn't for me. The people I was mixing with there, although lovely people, I was like, these people aren't for me, if you know what I mean. Like, I know that sounds kind of bitchy, stuck up maybe, but like they just weren't. They were just a little bit false, I kind of found. But they were nice, you know what I mean? And then I kind of thought, oh, what do I do with myself? Do you know what I mean? And basically what I'm trying to say is anyone who's in their teens now that doesn't know what they want to do, chill out, because you will find something. Just try things. Literally just try anything. Anything that you think, oh, I might like that, try it. And if you don't like it, don't beat yourself up about it. Just try something else, and eventually you will find something like you really do like doing. It'll always be work, but like you'll find something. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what the three of us kind of example
figuring out as we go along though.
Well, yeah, exactly. Everyone is. I mean, like I might still completely change paths. Like, do you know what I mean? Like what I'm in now might lead me to, like, I still think about joining the army, the navy, the Garda. You know what I mean? I could open up my own person. Like I don't know exactly what I want to do, but it will always be something around the lines of what I am doing, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It will be something to do with sports. Like the Garda would be loosely related to that. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a fitness test and things. There's avenues you can go down in the Garda to be, you know, a health and fitness guy as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm not too sure what I want to do. What do you want to do, Dave? What's the plan?
Well,
take that business, franchise, give back.
That's the
franchise
plan.
That shit.
Global takeover.
Pay me.
Well, look, that's the thing. I'm very lucky to find something very young that I love.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm really lucky, and it fell into place, and like Darryl Teddy in particular as well.
Boy,
Just to
that shit,
prove.
yeah.
There you go.
Wait.
The best plug ever.
Get that out, Adam. Get that out.
Let them know.
Buy
Let
it.
them know.
Buy it.
Here, about
Let them
100 copies spare here if you want them.
know.
Yeah, like I love what I do. I'm blessed, but I fell into it. If I'm being honest, like
Yeah.
I wanted to do marketing in college, and then I think I filled out the CAO wrong in sixth year. And basically what happened was I got sports science, which was like second on my list. Marketing was like sixth, and I just thought if you got the points for the course that you wanted, you'd be able to pick it. But no, of course, it gives you only your top option. So whatever, if you got 400 in sports science, is 400, you get that and nothing below. So you can only get your second option, your first option. So obviously then I just got sports science, and I was like, well, that's not what I planned anyway. But I went through it. See, I was always like that into sports as well. So I was just like, okay, right, I'll try it. Fair enough. Let's see what happens. And I had been coaching kids football from like 2 to 5 years of age. Like basically whatever, I had an experience there. It didn't go too well, but I ended up in a position where I was like, right, I'm going to go, and I want to work for myself now. And I love coaching kids, so I set up the kids coach. And yeah, I love it. Now, like, I have to say, it fell into place. It did. Like, it really did. And I'm blessed.
Yeah, it did.
But like, there was times where like I was in the college and certain stuff would happen, and I was in bits. Like, I wasn't far off tears, because you do get disappointments. And like, I was like, in some stages I was very unlucky. In some stages it was my own fault because I made mistakes and I shouldn't have said certain things or whatever. But you learn from it. But like with me at the moment, like with this lockdown, it's like I can look at things and go, right, we're fucked. Like I went from basically 7 days a week working to nothing, and you're kind of like, what do I do? Like I just had the book come out, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, you can't really sell any of them anymore. People aren't going to be spending money, just anywhere they want now. It's kind of like they're going to be preservative. But it's like you have to look at the positives. It's like I can do stuff like a podcast. I can go. I can maybe do stuff online, like on my website. But I still think that I could have a total like different career change. There's no reason why that won't happen. Like who says like? Well, the way I look at it is to myself, I'm not going to be a kids coach for the rest of my life. That's for sure. I'm just not going to do that, and I don't want to. That's the first thing. I love my job at the moment, but there's no way I'm going to be doing it for the next 40 years, especially like it's kind of suited to a younger person as well, that type of job. But why?
Yeah.
Firstly, I think kids will always see someone, like for example, when I had a beard one day, this goes back, this is a mad story now, but I had a beard one day right into class, a beard of some sort. It was a hairy mess. But I went into the class, and on one Sunday morning, I had gone over a week, and I'd always shave before the class. And there was 3 kids, and they wouldn't talk to me the whole class, and they'd always talk to me. And it was like an appearance thing. They thought I looked older, and they were just like, it was really standoffish. And it turns out that the kids, their parents, they were like, no, like, why does David have that on his face? It's like every time I walk into the class and I smile, and like I drop myself to their level and I act silly, like you should see me in the class. I'm growing around, and I put a shoe on top of my head and all when I'm running. Like it's just mad. But it's like that type of stuff stops really. Like imagine me in my 30s running around like that, and maybe I have kids myself. Like, and it's just, that's where you can start going for myself. It's like franchises where I don't have to coach anymore, but I can own them.
Yeah.
And maybe consultancy work or seminars, more books. That's the type of thing that I'd want to focus on. But like the coaching,
yeah, because I could have would have thought what you were doing was the future. Like, do you know what I mean? And I actually had the idea for something like that, and then just as I got that idea, you set it up. Do you know what I mean? And I was kind of like, oh, that's an interesting. Not that I was going to do it, but just as I was saying to myself, I wonder if someone is already doing that, because like the problems are always plastered all over the media. Like there is a huge problem with childhood obesity, and the studies they did on their ability to, like, their hand-eye coordination and all the rest of it. I think you go into it in the book, and
kicking a ball,
like there is some massive problems that are there that need fixing. And the way you went about it was real interesting, because I find that like this is the kind of gap that should be filled by sport in Ireland. Like this is what historically it has always been. You join soccer. If your dad was into soccer, you join soccer, or in my case it would have been soccer and GAA. But I find that it's been lacking lately, especially soccer. I'm going to just shoot on soccer at the moment, and the state of soccer in Ireland at the moment. I think that from youth level, it's abysmal. I think it's really, really, really bad. The GAA are smoking them in the sense of the coaching, the standard of coaching, and just their willingness to actually allow people to play the sport, and they're genuinely trying to keep people in the sport, like actively trying to keep people in the sport. Soccer doesn't do that. Soccer don't care, like, if you got to stop playing. Do you know what I mean? They don't care. Well, that's been my experience with it, and I've heard that from many other people. Now, maybe I've just been unlucky, and maybe it's different in other clubs, but from my experience and from a lot of the people I've spoken to, that's the impression I get from soccer in Ireland, is that they don't really care. They say that, I think their mission statement on the FAI page says their mission is to spread soccer around the country and for all age groups, all ability levels, and to tackle, obesity levels and to increase the health of the nation. I don't think that is actually their mission at all. I really don't. I've never gotten that feeling from them, but I have gotten that feeling from the GAA. I left soccer. I played soccer for years. Would have been my first sport, and I joined GAA, and that would have been kind of my second sport. But when I was a kid, now I would have been fairly young. But I left GAA, and my dad was getting calls. I was on the third team as well. It wasn't very good, but my dad was getting calls for up to a year after, being like, "Oh, where's Adam? He can still come up. Come on, where's Adam?" And all, actively trying to keep people in the sport. I left soccer, and not a phone call, nothing. You know what I mean? Now, you might say, you're shy. Yeah, I mightn't have been very good. I'm reasonably athletic, if I'm being perfectly honest with myself. I'm not, was never, really good. I was never going to get trials or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? But I was reasonably athletic. But never a phone call, nothing. They really just didn't care. Trying to go back, when I actually went to try and go back, kind of the odd training session, you were treated as an outsider. Straight away, it was kind of like, "Oh, what's what your man doing?" Do you know what I mean? And even in the team, there would have been kind of that sentiment of look, he's trying to come back now. But I never got that from the GAA. And a great story, actually, I might just tell it real quick, about me praising the GAA again. I worked in a shop, and a fella came in with a Jules jacket, which would be the local team where I'm from, and I just said to him personally, "Oh, you're a Jules man, hey, I live up that way." And I knew as soon as I said it, he's going to ask me to play GAA. And at this point, I was checking. I think I was 21 at the time. I hadn't played in years. I was saying to myself, this outfit was going to ask me to play GAA again. And he was helping him with the stuff and packing up his stuff. And then he goes to me, "What age are you?" I was like, 21. And he was like, "Such and such is the manager up there." He was like, "It's never late to go back. Too late to go back." And he was like, go on up and all, like proper trying to get me to play. He was like, "Go back, honestly. I know the manager and all. I'll get you on the team and all." Trying to get me. And I remember when he left, I was like, I knew he was going to do that. Because that's what the GAA is all about. It's all
representing
about
your parish.
Spreading,
that's what it is. Yeah.
Spreading Irish culture. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The language, everything, the music, it's all encompassed in it. The soccer don't do that at all. And I have a cousin.
Go on, finish your point.
Yeah, no, I have a cousin. He's mad into soccer, and it used to be a joke in our family. If he has a child and he doesn't like soccer, he'll disown him. That was like a joke. I hadn't seen him for years. He's since had a child, and I said to him, "What's the story? Are you bringing Luca up to soccer? And he goes, "No." And I was like, "Really? Why not?" And he goes, "There's nothing in it in soccer for him. The coaching's terrible. The whole thing at youth level is really bad. They don't care about the children." He goes, "I'm bringing them up to Ballyboden to play GAA." And that's what he's doing. He plays hurling and Gaelic football. I'm coming from someone who was die-hard soccer. Never heard him speak about GAA. To do that, it really shows that there's a huge problem within soccer in Ireland. And I wish that wasn't the case, because I do really like the sport, and I'd like to get my kids into it eventually, but I don't think I will. I don't think I'll bother.
Yeah, I think there's this weird. No, it's not a weird thing. It's a good thing, but the sense of pride that's associated with making county or playing for the biggest club in your area, whatever it be in the GAA, is just so much higher than it ever is in football in Ireland. I'm from Mayo, so I'm furthest away
Culture.
from high level football from ye in Dublin, like even GA level or like in the GA we're fine, but with soccer it's not even in the same realm. But I always remember there was this weird kind of contention between like actual soccer heads and like football heads. There was the couple of lads that I play for both and were just athletic lads that like playing ball.
Yeah.
But there was just this weird sort of elitism almost for like the lads that played high level soccer. They were
Absolutely.
like, well, we want to be professional athletes. Like you're
Mhm.
only playing an amateur sport, and it just made this weird sort of dynamic where you had to kind of choose one or the other. Otherwise, you were just never going to be a high level in either.
Yeah.
And I think that put people off. And I remember that was kind of a toxic thing that when I was playing football, like I tried it. I never played at any sort of level. Like Westboro United is the big football club here, or like the biggest kind of where I'm from. And like you'd join it and you go, and it just like didn't really get on with the lads for the most part. Like they were grand, kind of similar to what you were saying about the lads you went to college with, Adam. Like they were
Mhm.
fine, but they just weren't really people that I could see myself like spending hours a week with, training, like wanting to be part of a team. And it's just like, even if I got on with people on the GA teams, like didn't want to play GA, or got on people with the soccer team who didn't want to play soccer, there was just this weird, just the dynamic between the pair where like nothing really, there was always this competitiveness, but like a completely toxic one, as opposed to like the general.
And did you box there?
I did, but not at a great level. Like I did it for a year or two. I started when I was like 8 or 9, but I didn't really enjoy the like we were just getting poking the head off each other for half an hour at 8 years old. Like skull hasn't fully fused together and I'm getting punched around like this. It just wasn't. But it's showing now, like you can tell I was.
But the thing is, I think like I know football, I played it for years, and like my age group in particular, there was so many people that went to England. Like my best mates.
Yeah, your age group, man.
Yeah, my age group was just
Loads,
unbelievable.
Kinsley and all them.
Yeah, like Steve was in Everton.
The golden year, man.
Aaron went to Man City. Like he was in my school now. But like Dara O'Shea now.
Did Richie English play as well? Didn't he play?
Richie English was with Rovers.
He's here, yeah. Is he?
Yeah. Like, there were so many people our age. Like Dara O'Shea is with West Brom now. Oh my God, this is going to tell me to upgrade in 10 minutes. Let me see. But anyway, so basically we'll just do a part 1, part 2 if we have to. But basically, there were so many people. Like Dara O'Shea now, he was in Temple Oak College, but like he was playing my age Judes and all. He's with West Brom now.
Oh yeah, he's doing really well for himself.
Yeah, like all these people. But it's like, I have to say, in my age group of Temple Oak, there was 3 teams. Like Steve Kinsley and stuff was on the A team. And like there was like 3 of them went off to England. Himself went to Everton. Conor Davis went to Reading, and Avascanio went to Sunderland all the same year. And it's like
the manager went to Everton as well, I think, as a coach.
Yeah, he went along with him to stay with him. He was only young, but it's like the thing is with football. It's like at the end of the day, if you make it, like that's financially you're secure. Like it's just and parents will push their kids into the sports that make you money. Like, that's just the way it is. Now, obviously, like football is a massively popular sport. I loved it, and I have to say, like with my team, I played from under 13s. I only started football 13 up. I have to say, I loved it, and I was there all the time. It was a great like banter, and all was great. And like I did come back and forth a few times, but like my 2 managers at the time, like they're my friends' dads as well, so they did send you that text, hey, when you coming back? Have you been busy? Blah 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 blah. So like. I was very lucky as well with that, but there is that.
You're a good footballer now, aren't you? Like,
I'm bang average compared to that age group. Bang average, yeah, bang average.
Age group, though, to be fair.
Like, it was just like that A team where they won like 6 All-Irelands at like underage. They were just like it was unbearable. But like us as the Bs, like we were DDSL, and obviously Premier was the main one. Like we were major, we were the second top, but like we were nothing near them. That's how good they were. But I loved that sport. But at the same time, like I played GA from 3 up until 13 as well, and I played with Robert Emmets and then Judes. It's just like at the end of the day, yeah, you're playing for your parish, you're playing for your local team, and it's just a different vibe altogether. But I have to say, I was very lucky to experience both and to enjoy both. But I think if I ever have kids in the future, the first thing I'm going to do is put them into martial arts like jiu-jitsu or something along
me
those
too.
lines. 100%, because team sports, I think, like, I love them. Social element is great. The sense of achievement when you win something together is amazing. Plus, I have to say, a lot of it for me was social. I knew I wasn't going to make a pro in football, so it was always a social thing. But I know personally, for achievement and for me, confidence-wise and everything, martial arts, jiu-jitsu just changed my outlook on everything.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, me too.
I think if I was put in, I wish if I went back to the very start, if I was put into something from a child, it would be jiu-jitsu, because that sport as a whole is just amazing. And if I had any power like that at all, I'd enroll it as a PE thing in school or something. I don't know, but look, it's tough. I understand it'd be tough for kids as young as 4 or 5. Obviously, they're going to be like, what the hell? And they'd laugh and it'd be a mess and whatever. But some sort of coaching.
What kids aren't in any sport, you know yourself, even doing your training with the kids coach stuff, it's all fun and games just because it's wrestling or jiu-jitsu over football or basketball. It can still just be as fun. The focus isn't
rugby.
Performance at that stage.
What's rugby? You know what I mean? Same thing. I mean, so definitely, but what you were saying is right. Same for me. Changing into martial arts was definitely a big game changer, and it kind of made me feel like, why didn't I do this sooner? I kind of feel like, even though there is a lot of value in team sports and things like that, but I felt like I would have done better in single sports, martial arts or tennis or something. I felt like a lot of the time on the team, they would have
get shuffled in the pack.
Yeah, and the dad's the manager, the son plays, and I know it's such a cliche at this point, but it happened to me 2 or 3 times, and I've seen it happen to other people where they would be playing well and they just wouldn't play because the dad's the manager, and you're not getting a game because he's not taking off his son, and different things like that. Then they'd be the kind of which I think is great to learn how to be that little testing where maybe you're not playing very well and you have to earn your place. And I'm not saying that we should get rid of that. And I'm not saying we should get participation medals or anything like that. I'm not that.
I was waiting for you to mention participation medals.
I'm not saying that. But there has to be some level of failure that the child has to go through and feel a bit kind of and understand how that feels. But I kind of felt in my experience, you'd have a few bad games, and then it would become a thing that someone on the team would be he's shy. And then when you have a good game, it would almost upset the person that you had a good game. And you're meant to be on the same team. Do you know what I mean? And if I were to coach soccer, I would really try and say, we're on the same team here. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't feel like that in a lot of the sports I played, not GAA, but in soccer especially. It would be you'd have a good game and you'd almost see someone who was giving you a hard time being
spiteful over it.
Yeah. And you'd be kind of we're on the same team here. Do you know what I mean? And it was actually a young fella, I won't name him, but he was on our football team and he kind of came into it, into soccer a bit later than the rest of us, but reasonably athletic guy, but wasn't very good when he started. But he trained, and he used to never get a game. We had the manager at the time, just used to never play him. It kind of became a bit of a joke on the team. Such and such, he's crap. You know what I mean? Haha, he only got on for 2 minutes at the end of the game. Oh, he's useless and all. And then we had to go to Barcelona for a tournament, and our main forward at the time couldn't go, so he had to play. On the first game, he scored 2 goals, one of the best goals I've ever seen in schoolboy football. We were playing a lot of Italians, and this young fella flicked the ball over one of the Italian heads at the edge of the box, caught it on the volley straight into the corner. We were all just losing our minds. But I was happy for the dude. I was I knew he could do it. You know what I mean? There was people on the team who didn't like that, who were still saying after the game, oh, he got lucky, this and that. Do you know what I mean? No, it wasn't that good. Let's not get carried away. And they were genuinely annoyed because this perception they had of this player and this, attitude they had towards him is no longer justified. And it made them kind of say, there was times where he'd come off the bench. I remember another kind of story, came off the bench. It was a minute left in the game. This was in Ireland. and he bombed it down the wing, beat 2 players, and 1 player slide tackled him, and it went out for a corner, and our manager screamed at him, "Oh, for fuck's sake, can you not do?" And like, I remember turning over to the manager on the sideline and going, "He's after beating 2 players and knocked out for a corner. Are you just used to calling him shit? Like, are you just used to calling him shit? Like, do you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
I was just like, and I kind of felt like in team sports that happens too often. I'm like, how many players do we lose to that? How many talents? How many people who are going to enjoy their football? Not even people who would go off at a high level, but people are going to enjoy their football and like increase their value of life and build life skills. How many do we lose to our own kind of like attitudes? You know what I mean?
I think
again, I don't want to sound too kind of liberal or whatever you call it, soft, SJW, snowflake. There has to be some level of you done shite there. Do you know, there has to be some level of that. You have to learn to toughen up. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get rid of that, but sometimes you need a kind of like a bit of coaching, realistically. Because if I'm looking back now, one of the managers I had never got coached before. Never got coached. I remember when we last story in Burn Years, obviously.
Do you know what? Can you start that story in a few seconds? Because this is going to go and it'll just cut you off.
We'll put a pin in it. I'll save it.
Save it, right? So I'll stop this now, and then because Zoom are after deciding now that I was doing like all these podcasts there or whatever last week and stuff.
They're shite bags. Call them out, Dave. Call them
out. Well, here's the thing. It was getting to 40 minutes, and it was like, oh no, do you want another 20 minutes? Like, because basically it was saying if there's 3 or more people, it can only be 40 minutes, or else you need to upgrade the pro. So it was saying last week, basically, that was giving you as long as you want. It would come up at 40 minutes. We know it's at 40 minutes, but you can just continue on. But now, today, I was like, oh, it's going to say that again. Because now you need to stop. So I'll continue that story with you, Adam, after starting a new one. Right, we're back. We're recording again. Continue, Adam.
Yeah, so basically, coaching, like, you know what I mean? So like I would have done coaching, sports coaching as a module I'd done in college and different things like that. And it was only when I started doing these things I kind of realised how little coaching I got and like the team went through. We kind of just been take shots on the keeper and like, you know what I mean? Like before, you know what I mean? Boot the ball around, play a match at the end. But very little coaching. And I remember when we went from, what was it, in 9-a-side? Is it 9-a-side that you used to play? The small belts.
Yeah, I know for me anyway, we stopped playing. I think we went from under 10s, and the minute we went to under 11s, then we went full pitch, I think.
That's it. Yeah. When we made that jump, I remember they started being kind of more strict on, say, like a foul throw, whereas in 9-a-side they'd just be like, you know what I mean? If you like, fair enough, you had to have the feet planted and all, but like, you know, the way you're meant to release it before it gets over your head, like, you know. Yeah. But when we went to 11-a-side, they were like constantly foul throw, and instead of like the manager, like our coach, taking us aside and being like, look, this is what you do, and, you know, and coaching us, like, you know what I mean? Like if I was a coach of the team, I would be rejoicing in something like that happening. I'd be writing it down. I'd be like, Adam, throw-ins, that's what we're going to work on. That's what I'm going to coach with Adam on Tuesday night. Do you know what I mean? Throw-ins. And then in the next week I'm going to be like, I want you to get 5 throw-ins successful. You know what I mean? And then like, and go through it with them. Do you know what I mean? Coach them. That's what I would love with that. My eyes would light up. I'd be like, Grant, that's
the pride in coaching thing, though, that I think. Like the 3 of us now are getting it a bit. But go on, finish what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, I was basically told, we'll just take the centre back, and he'll take the throw. Do you know what I mean? It was all this rigmarole. It was like. And at the time, I was only young fella. I didn't think to say, was it not just like coach me through it? But now knowing what I know, I'm like, that was a massive error. Like, you know what I mean? That's what kind of you had to go through back then.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I know coaching kids now. I've been doing it for 4 years, like, and that's obviously 3 years previously to actually running the kids coach. But what makes the difference to, I know, kids at the age of 4 and 5 especially, is, first of all, that's fun. That was the whole premise behind the book. Like, if it's not fun, they're not going to do it. Simple as. Secondly, remembering a kid's name, something that simple, stands out so much. It stands out to the child, obviously, and it stands out to the parent. Like, it's so important. You just have to remember the kid's name. Like, I know there's so many times playing sports as a kid, I was just labelled as, well done, young fella, or well done, chap. Like, something like, the labeling of a name is just so important, and people don't realize that. Like meeting people at a session, like before the session even starts, and saying hi, how was your weekend? Maybe a high five. You have something on, I don't know. You smile, like the eye to eye contact, like good people skills, which people just tend to ignore, is what's most important. Like, and I was lucky in the sense that like my parents raised me that if I didn't look you in the eye, they'd give out to you, or if you interrupted when they were talking, they'd give out to you, and whatever you, let's say punished, but that's the wrong word for it. We'd just be given out to. But like the important thing is that it's like everyone's included. It's a fun atmosphere for kids anyway, and that basically like the kids want to keep on coming back. Now I know when it comes to coaching, say 13, 14-year-olds, which I do during the week, like in the after school, it's interesting because they all have their own opinions, and they'll ask questions again, and they'll say, "Oh, what about this or what about that?" and whatever. We play football one day, we play Gaelic football the other day, but it's like they're more inquisitive. But it was funny because they were all like, "Are you going to be here next year? Like coming back to the after school?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I will be here." They're like, "Oh, we just like the way you like will stop in the middle of a game and talk to us about what maybe we could do better. We really like that instead of just giving out to us." And I was like, "Oh, well, there you go. Something's working anyway." Like, and it's the whole idea. I know we learned in college anyway about like a sandwich approach, where it's like you say like it's like a three-way thing, where it's like first of all you say, "Well done, you're doing this really well," and then the middle part of the sandwich would be like, "Okay, you could maybe try this to do something better or whatever," and then end with a compliment again saying, "But remember, you are working really hard," or something like this. And it's like it's all like always positive enforcement, like it's a positive atmosphere. But I think a massive problem is that a lot of the coaches in sports, from like or coaching kids or whatever, or just to be honest, at any age group, a lot of them are parents of some of the kids on the team or whatever, and they're not actual coaches. So like it's like, as you said, maybe a session you'll have a few shots and you'll play a match. Like they're not actual coaches. They're just the ones that were able to go, right, I have enough time in the week to, volunteer and to be the manager. So it's like I look at clubs like Lord Celtic now, and there was a guy, Allo Byrne, who was doing sports science in Tala, and I'm not sure if he's the chairman of the club or he's something along the lines. He's top in the club anyway. Their setup there is brilliant. Like I watch his Instagram posts and everything's about inclusion. It's about fun. It's about games, and like it's just football. Like it's only a football club, but they're playing different games, and it's all fun, and everyone's included, and it's simple as that. And like and we all obviously experience it at some stage, but it's like a lot of the time it's a parent and they're shouting at you, and it's non-informative. It's just reacting off emotions. They feel that maybe the game's just going bad, and that's how they react. They're going to react for the whole game, and it makes the kid feel bad. And at the end of the day, they'll never want to come back because they don't like getting given out to when they're playing the hobby. It's simple as that. But it's like, and this where it comes back, I think, to practical knowledge and college, learning stuff in college as well. I didn't learn any of that like one-to-one coaching, because like even like if I have a class of 15 kids, like for me, obviously coaching them as a whole is important during the 45 minutes of the actual class, but the 5 minutes before the class and the 5 minutes after is probably even more important. Making them feel like they're a part of something, like they're welcome, and when they're leaving, saying, "I can't wait to see you next week. Enjoy that thing you're doing, whatever, later on this evening." And that's the important part. I didn't learn that during college. In college, it's okay, this is the right approach, but you never try it realistically. No. And I think that's where the three of us, we have that common ground. Obviously, we went to college, but we know what's more important, in our opinions anyway. Because I think it's going to get to a stage now where it's like realistically, everyone's getting degrees. Literally, like every person I know my age is getting a degree in some form.
Everyone and their granny has them now.
Exactly. And it's like, I think it could work out to be the opposite soon enough, where it's like the people who actually have the practical knowledge and have shown maybe that they set up their own business, or just took a bit of initiative and, I don't know, took on a few clients maybe in the fitness industry. I think that's what's going to be more important, maybe if you're looking to get hired by a bigger company or something in the future,
Dead right, man. Dead right.
It's tough because, like, I know in particular there's been a few people in mine, Dara's course, that and like including Dara himself, set up their own business and stuff. But it's like, first of all, are they doing it because they just want to work for themselves, or are they doing it because they love it? That's a massive question. Because I know, as I said, I was very lucky, like that I fell into something that I love. I know Dara loves what he's doing at the moment with Diamond SPC, but it's like I wish that the people that set up their own business and stuff and go by themselves do love it, because otherwise it can be tough. You know, it really can be tough. You have to love it. You really do. You know?
Trying to grind away at something like that, it's pretty tough. You have to just like either love it and genuinely love it, or just love money. I think like some people I know who are literally like, oh, I just love money.
Do anything for the bag, like.
What is it?
Do anything for the bag, like.
Well,
that's true.
As long as the bag is secure.
Just get the money and stick it up my nostril, like that's what they're saying.
Yeah, people
like,
say,
I know people like that, and it's just a motivator for them. They're just like, I'll work any job as long as it pays. They're definitely more, they're rarer. You know what I mean? But there is people like that who are just really motivated by money. So basically, what you were saying, I hope they either love it or really love money, one or the other.
Yeah, but it's like people say money doesn't buy happiness. It's like at the end of the day, it's
money will buy you a nice car, and a nice car can make you happy though.
Exactly, and it can.
Apparently, after 80 grand a year in Ireland, you're not happy.
Like I leave
that
to other people.
New norm then.
Yeah.
So like, you know, first like, and it's even for like, let's say take the extreme, like millionaires, you know, flying in private jets. You know what I mean? Apparently, it's like, oh, the first time, it's pretty interesting, like.
But then it's just how you get around the place, like.
Yeah, then it's like flying coach. Do you know what I mean? It's just that's just how you get around the place, and it doesn't give you any more happiness after that point. Like, do you know what I mean? Now, of course, people who say money isn't happiness, it is to a certain extent. If you're struggling to pay the bills and you can't afford, you know, your daughter or your son or whatever can't afford shoes, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's an extreme case, but there's others.
It's the secureness, I think.
Exactly.
It's the
exactly. You
secureness
might be
that comes
building
with
a
money.
gap or something. That like money at that point is pure happiness. You know what I mean? So.
Well, look at the lockdown. Look at this pandemic. Like, people like this 350 a week is keeping people afloat. Realistic, it's keeping me pretty happy anyway. You know, like
I'd like to get onto that, Dave. I'd like to get onto what do we think that what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Like,
personally, we can't do this.
Post.
Like, I don't think we can do this for much longer. Realistically,
no.
We're gonna have to get back to work. Like, the way I was looking at it before is, when is one person not gonna have this disease? Like, when's it gonna totally disappear? Like, it's gonna, like, we'd be waiting forever.
If they get a vaccine, do you know what I mean? It's
it's just gonna end up like a coronavirus season, like you have flu season, like you have everything else. It'll just be
pretty frightening thought, like.
Yeah, and the thing,
people get really mad when you start talking about it, though. You notice that, like, people like are really on this lockdown buzz, like, which, I want to be clear, I understand that lockdown is important and social distancing. I'm not saying it's
coronavirus denier.
I'm not about that life.
Because of the 5G.
It's because of the 5G, man. I'm telling you now. But like, well, I think it was you that was Dave. Like, we have to open up eventually. Like, it's not a case we can keep this going. Eventually, it's just going to outweigh. Do you know what I mean? Eventually, we're just going to run out of money. People are going to start. You know, I hate to say it, but suicide rates will go up. And eventually, it's just going to be too much.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like the flu kills hundreds of thousands of people a year worldwide, and people die of heart attacks all the time. Obviously, we don't have a vaccine for this disease, and that's massive. That's so important. But it's like the economy's just taking such a massive beating, and
it's taking a hiding, and we just got out of that bit of trouble we're in. Like, things are finally looking up. Like,
the thing for us is we're going to be paying back all the taxes on top of this 350 that's being paid to everybody. Like, over the next 20 years, we're going to be paying that back. So we just got unlucky with that. Where like people, like maybe the generation before us, we've been paying back from like the Celtic Tiger, from that depression. Like, they would be paying back, bailing out the fucking banks. Like, so we just got unlucky with a virus. But it's like we're going to have
people like yourself, though, Dave. Like, that's got to be a smack in the mouth. Like, setting up a business, like, you know what I mean? A couple of people are saying, one of my mates, Mark O'Dory, probably know him. He physical culture gym, doing really well, like, really interested in training, but he's obviously suffering at the moment, like, from the lockdown. And then John, my boss in SF Fitness, like, they're going to be suffering as well. So I really do feel for the likes of yourselves. Like, it's so uncertainty, man. That's what's getting me. Like,
that's the thing, but it's like, you can look at it, as I said, and it's really tough. Not all people are like, say, the three of us, but you have to look at it positively. Like, you have to look, right, what can I
Exactly.
do? Is there improvements I can make? And for me, I know in particular, it was like, I look at my website and my online services. I don't have any online
Exactly.
services. I just don't. So it's like, what do I do? Do I do some sort of video course? Do I do online consultancy? Do I do calls
Yeah.
like this for other
It's always
coaches?
something you can do.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like, it opens up your eyes. But like, I know, like, I'm earning the 350 a week, thank God. I'm blessed that I am. But it's like, it's not what I was earning. It's doing me great, but it's like I'm not spending anything. So if anything, it's good for me to save during this. I'm very lucky to be
Yeah.
living at home, and I don't really have that much expenses. So it's like it's a blessing in a way that I can just save the money that I'm being given, maybe for a second wave of the coronavirus if it ever comes, unfortunately. But like, I know the people, like, there's a lot of people say working now part time and they'll be doing, say, 8 hours a week part time, and they're in college and they'd only be getting maybe €100 a week, but they're getting this 350. Oh, they don't realize
Yeah.
they have to be paying more, like pay that 250 that they've been earning per week back.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Oh, it has to do. They had to do
Yeah.
something. They had to be
In terms
because
of
they
the
couldn't. They
tax.
didn't have time for a means test. Like, there was no way that they were
Yeah,
going to be able
that's
to
yeah,
get it
because
quick.
Yeah.
I know with
So they
myself,
had to
like
just give it out to everyone.
Yeah.
where I'm working, I'm on whatever part-time contract, and like I'm not getting the 350. I'm just getting whatever contracted hours I was getting. So
Yeah.
like I know I'm not going to have to pay any of that back or whatever. But friends of mine are telling me it's like, oh, you can either just get the 350 or like whatever the difference is, you can get that to get you up to 350. And I was like I was looking into it, whatever. But then I've heard a couple of people mention what you just said there, that like it's going to have to go back.
Yeah.
So there is no benefit in
Because
me just
like,
collecting it.
our government
It's
takes it
money
off
I
like
don't
this with
have.
the
It's
bank.
like taking on credit.
Yeah. So it's terrible. It's so bad, but you have to look at the positives. But it's like, I just think we just have to move on. It's going to have to get to a stage like where we meet head on. It's like, I know when it comes to schools, like, what are you going to do? Have the kids social distance in a classroom where it's like you have 16 kids out, whatever, or 15 kids out with a class of 30, and then you swap them in for the other 15. I don't think that's realistic. So it's like,
No.
when do we go back to normal? September, maybe? I don't know. But it's like,
In
It's just
terms of
not
shopping,
normal.
though,
Is it
like
going to be
for
the same
Christmas
though?
and different things, you
yeah,
see, like people are talking about, like, well, like let's say it's still going pretty badly up until Christmas. It's like, how are we going to do our Christmas shopping? I know it should be the least of our worries at this point, but you
no,
know,
like,
it's a big
yeah.
boost to the economy, big festival, and all the rest of it. How are we going to get the Santa presents, all the rest of it? But I think that won't be that much of an issue. I reckon that this is just going to be the final nail in the coffin for the way we consume the goods we buy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's just going to be, this is it. This is the revolution where just everything goes online. So, like, you know what I mean? Like,
See,
people will lose their jobs in shops, say, but there'll be loads more jobs that will come available in warehouses and, you know, delivery service or whatever it might be. Maybe, again, I'm not a fucking economist, I don't know, but like, it seems to me like something like this could be like the natural progression where people just start doing all their shopping online. You know what I mean? It's already been kind of going that way. And this
Yeah.
seems to me like, people, would you bother going to a shop when you can just get it delivered, like, and no risk, you know what I mean? Well, minimal risk. So I don't know. I don't think that would be, maybe that won't be affected that much, but yeah, definitely the likes of fitness things, like, that's gonna, online training will be a big thing, but it's not really for everyone. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm in a position now where I could hire an online coach because I've spent years and I'm, you know, obviously a coach myself. But when I first started off, I don't think that would have been very, you know, I don't think that would have been very useful. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
It's tough because it's like,
uh,
a lot of people, like, they're just sick of home workouts. You can only do so many bodyweight squats and push-ups and stuff.
I
Like,
know.
everyone's blessed to have equipment, so it's like, you can, like, especially during this time, obviously, you can have the online coaches, and it's great. But a lot of it, even if you're working one-on-one with a PT, is getting out of your own house or getting out of wherever you
Dead
are
right.
most of the
I
day.
think even with things as small as, like Adam was saying there, the shopping though, it's like the natural progression is now that all shopping and stuff will be done online. But I think in theory, everyone's like, that'll be handy, just being able to just like buy everything online, get it delivered. But I think people will start to miss floating to the shop,
Yeah. Yep.
meeting so and so behind the till. Like, there's little social things in that I think in time
Dead right.
people will miss. And I think that's in general what people are missing now is just the social stuff. But I don't know what, like, it's hard to know what's the right or wrong thing to do. Like, keep shops open, but keep social distancing.
Yeah, it's so
Just
tough,
try
isn't it?
transfer
Like,
big supermarkets over. Like, it's
Well, I
there
there's
is
no
that
right
debate
answer.
now between like safety and freedom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, especially like I know in America, it's a bit bigger. Like, where people are like, the Constitution hasn't been. You know, they're fucking mad about their Constitution, which is their right. You know what I mean? Every country has a Constitution. If we don't like something, we just fucking change it. But they're like, no.
Yeah. Oh, they're mad. Like
the ancient wisdom. I don't know. The Bill of Rights is a good document. I'm not gonna shit on, but it's just like yeah, like the difference between freedom and safety, and it's kind of like, oh, it's such a grey area, isn't it? Like,
yeah, but like if you look at, obviously we have a massive interest. We all love the UFC, we all love MMA, and they're going to Florida now, and they're holding an event tomorrow. Like, it's crazy. Like, just the Americans are out ahead.
Are people going to be at that day?
No. Like, have like their own training session. I was looking at UFC embedded there yesterday, and what they were doing was, like, normally you have a certain amount of mats for like whatever, a few training rooms. The other way, like, they put like a certain group of fighters in one room and like another group of fighters, like all their opponents in the other, and they'll be training away, warming up. But like, everyone's having their own training room, their own sauna, I've seen, or some sort of, like, I don't know what it is, but it's a sauna of some sort. Yeah, but like, it's some setup. But like, Americans, they're just crazy. Like, I got a WhatsApp there earlier, and like, there's so many forward messages going around. But there was a woman, she had a face mask on, but around her mouth she had a hole cut in it there because she found it easier to speak when she had a hole in the face mask. Like, that's what the face mask is on for.
This is a bit of a touchy subject. Do you think there's more stupid people in America than there is in, say, you'd have to compare it to like the likes of Europe? It's so big.
I mean, there's no way to quantify that.
But it's like,
it's such a cliche. It's such a fucking stereotype.
It's just I think
everywhere.
I think maybe the stupid people in America might be just louder stupid people. They might be equally as stupid, but they're just less aware of it, maybe.
Well, you see, over there though, it's like politics is just a massive way of life. Like, over there, it's like when I went to Florida in October, it's like the first thing they ask you, like, what's your idea on Trump, or what do you think about Trump, or who do you think should be the next president? And you're just like, what? It's like, someone said to me, make sure every time they try to talk to you about politics, the first thing you say is, look, I barely understand Irish politics, so I'm not going to get into American ones. And then they just go, okay, fair enough, and then they'll just talk about anything else. But it's the first question everyone asks you over there is about politics. It's mad, straight away.
But it's because it's the entertainment industry. That's what they're all about. They've made it entertainment. Yeah. It's like, that's why we don't know anything about Irish politics, because it's not half as funny to look at.
No, it's not a pantomime. One thing I will say about the angst, though, is, right, in America, and I want to be careful about this because I like America, I like American people. I'm not going to fucking shit on them, but
give me a visa, please.
Do it.
What you can get away with saying in America, you can get away with saying some things in America that if you were to say it here, people would think there's something wrong with you. People would think like there's something kind of wrong with this dude, and I don't mean in the sense of, like, you know, harsh things or anything like that, but, like, you know, some concepts, like, let's say the concept of I want to protect my family. You know what I mean? In Ireland, we all want to protect our family. You know what I mean? Nobody in Ireland's like, nah, don't give a rat's about my family. Like, no, we want to protect our family, but we just want to, like, that's not something we speak about. It's just, but over here, it's like, I need my gun to protect my family. And they're always talking about these mad, hypothetical situations, and you're kind of looking at them going, does this shit happen on the regular over here? Do you need a gun beside your bedside in case someone comes in and tries to rape your whole family? What the fuck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like nobody is. It feels like they're a lot more afraid of things than we are, if that makes sense.
But that's like, if you watch any of their news, no wonder. Everything is just, everything's fucked. We're all gonna die all the time. So no wonder they're all so highly strung. Like, it's mental.
I remember when I was over there when I was a kid, I remember like one of the first things I seen on TV was like killer bees. And I was like, fucking, a wave of killer bees are coming to America. Lock up your
Just the bee
daughter,
movie.
shoot your son. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, God, fucking killer bees. But that was like, nah, it's Americans and something. Just chill out. Like, it's all a lot of
Like,
they're just bees.
And then it was all shit about sea monsters and stuff on the telly. I was like, what the fuck is this?
they're mad.
It's
They're
fucking
honestly
mad over there.
mad over there. But like,
Yeah, we're back in a second.
Dude.
We'll just get a trailer.
yeah, like the Sioux
Alright.
culture over there is mad. Like, it's absolutely crazy.
The witch culture?
Sioux, like the way people sue each other over there, like
Oh, yeah, Sue.
crazy. But like, I just found when I was over there, I was like, thank God I live in Ireland. Thank God I was born here. Like, we are so more with it. I just felt, I was like, I like coming over here just to see what they're like, to see what the American people are like, their culture. But I was like, Jesus, I think I'm lucky to be born here. I was just like, I love Ireland. And like, the sense of humour is funny. It's like, some people are real outgoing, or else it's a total opposite, where it's like, they literally, people will like back up and like look at you, and it's like, the first question will be about politics, and if you don't talk, they'll just be like, okay, and they'll just walk away. Like, some people are just so blatant rude as
I
well.
think, like, I was only in the States, whatever, a couple of days when I went over to the fight, but the taking the piss culture just doesn't exist over there unless like you're a comedian.
Yeah.
Whereas like we can sit here, we can all just like rip each other out of it and we'll have a laugh and everyone will know we're messing. Even if you go for something like really personal on someone, it's like we're mates. It's all grand. Or if it's not grand, you'll know it was intended as that and you can have a chat and just be like, all right, man, relax.
Yeah.
But over there, they're just looking at you like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's just like,
Yeah.
never mind. Just like it's not even
But
worth
that's why.
explaining.
But they love Irish people. Like, everyone loves the Irish people.
They
but
love the
they're
idea
friendly
of us, I
bunch, to
think.
be fair to them. Like,
Yeah, I
they
don't
are
know.
friendly
Yeah,
bunch, like.
I just found like, it was, I think Florida is so in the extreme, where it's like, it's the craziest place I've ever been in, and obviously, like, I think it's summed up by the Tiger King. Just basically, that show is just like,
What a legend.
I don't care. I'm making the comparison. I just found that show summed it all up. But like, I loved it over there, but I was just like, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But obviously, then we have, and we're obviously all mad into it, as I was saying, UFC card tomorrow. It's UFC 249, I think.
249, yeah.
249. So, first of all, main event, what we think. Tony Ferg, Justin Gaethje. What's your opinion?
Has to be Ferguson, doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
I think so.
He's a wizard, man.
Championship.
I think in a weird roundabout, I think he beats Gaethje. I think he also beats Khabib.
No,
but I think Conor beats Ferguson.
Yeah, it's a weird. Oh, yeah. I think Gaethje beats Ferguson. Personally, I know why people think Ferguson wins. I get it.
Are you going with a Pettis fight?
No, I think he just gets hit loads, and I know he never gets finished.
Yeah,
but
Gaethje can take Biden.
Yeah, that's I think it wasn't you, Nugget, I was talking to the last day, but I was just talking about how he just gets hit so often, and Ferguson breaks people, so he's just like crazy pressure and will just poke away at a lad until he just folds. And I think Gaethje's such a like true and true bred wrestler that just those kind of people don't crumble. They just like he'll stand there until he actually just gets sparked out. And I don't think Ferguson's going to spark him out. And I think if they were to have a wrestling match, I don't think Ferguson beats him in a wrestling match either. So I think he'd have to catch him in something slick, which he is more than capable of doing. Or he'll have to spark him out, which I don't think he will. So
what do you rate that division? What's your top fighters in that division in order?
Khabib,
like obviously champ, yeah.
Khabib, he's just every time I watch him, I think the most impressive thing is like what he's going to do. Everyone knows what he's going to do, and like every time he gets people against the fence, that's it. It's done. Like you can see people break, but I think with Tony, like I love Tony Ferguson. I love Khabib as well. I think Tony had the biggest chance of beating him, but just because like how much he scrambles,
Yeah.
the way he can just catch a dart out of nowhere, the way he just throws up triangles.
So unpredictable.
He's just that's it. But it's like, I just think Khabib's just too much of a force to be reckoned with. I think he's just too dominant.
As silly as it sounds, as the level like I'm at, or I'm sure you'll appreciate it too, lads, I'd just love to feel that pressure. I'd love to grapple with him just to know how heavy he feels. Because I was rewatching the Dustin Poirier fight there earlier, and he sits down the corner after 2 rounds of a world championship fight, nearly in tears, and he's like, I have no space. I can't get him off me. In 2 rounds, he's just crushed a world.
That's genetic, man. I'm convinced of it. Like, I know you can train for strength, and like obviously they would have been on strength conditioning programs, but at that level, when you're trying to get that percentage better, you know what I mean. You can get these fighters, train them all day, but they'll never have that strength. Like, I've rolled with these people before. Like they wouldn't even be that big. I've rolled with some people who are like 60 kilos before, and they feel like they're about 90 kilos. Like, they're so strong. And I don't know what it is, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you roll with someone who's 90 kilos and you might throw them around. Like, it's a very interesting thing. Obviously, technique plays a role in it as well. But very interesting, all right.
Yeah, I think if Tony Ferguson doesn't beat him, I'm just gonna stop watching MMA, because I have to see Khabib versus Tony. Like, that's just if like, I'm just so upset that it hasn't happened yet. Now the problem is
it'll end up being a letdown.
I just don't think it can be.
5 times.
No way. Like, oh, sorry. Okay, differently. I could understand why Khabib and Tony could be a letdown. I could understand that. But it's like, for people like us who are so pure into it and understand grappling especially, I think, like, I couldn't.
You just have to see it.
Yeah, I couldn't see myself not enjoying it. But I could see why other people are like, oh, they're just like, what are they doing? Like, just hopping on each other. But it's like, there's always a chance that Tony could catch him, or like, just one elbow and a bad cut, like, and that's it. Like,
imagine that was it. Imagine it was just like a dirty cut under the eyebrow.
Shit.
Oh my, like, it's unbelievable. Like,
I hate Khabib so much, man. Oh, I don't like him. Like, I mean, he's an OG, but I don't know. Like every time I watch, like, I know it's just because I'm a fanboy for Conor, but like, it's just like, I just want to see him get sparked out. He fucking thinks he's so hard. Fucking Dagestani, and like, he thinks
he's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, I know, he's savage. I have much respect for him, don't get me wrong, but like, against Dustin, I was like, Dustin, please just spark. Dustin Poirier is another, like, where do you? So I place, right? Khabib was the king. He has to be. Conor, I play second in that division, and maybe I'm being biased. Most certainly I'm being biased, but I think if Conor fought the way he fought against Alvarez, against
Khabib,
because Khabib wasn't good that night. He still beat him in pretty much every round and still landed shots on the feet. Like, he didn't look scared of Conor striking even in the 3rd round, but he wasn't great. And I think if Conor had been out of that mindset, I think he spoke about it in interviews, Conor, and a couple of different people did. I think Forrest Griffin did a breakdown of it. Did you see that? Yeah. Where it was like, when he did the shot, Khabib didn't have it finished, but Conor went into wrestling mode. But at one point, he could have got top mount. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And like, if he had switched into that, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I mean, when you're looking at these things in slow motion, they can look different. But yeah, so I have Conor second. I think I put Dustin then, Poirier as 3rd, and then fucking Ferguson 4th. What would you have?
T-Ferg second for me all day. Tony. Yeah. If you look at the picture, that picture from everyone he's fought, his last 11 fights, it's crazy. Just how
but like, he didn't look great against a lot of those. I mean, like, against Pettis. And that's not the same Pettis who was champion, although he has been better in recent fights. I mean, Pettis broke his hand on him, punching him in the head. Like, it's kind of like, and it looked like Pettis was going to finish him a couple of times. And he didn't look great in that fight. Kevin Lee got top mount on him as well. I think he was winning that fight as well. And then he got a submission. So you're kind of looking and you're like, he's not been dominant, has he? Whereas other than Nate Diaz and Khabib, who's even tested Conor? Like, you know what I mean? And even Diaz, fair, I don't know, Diaz, much respect, but like, I mean, like, it was clear in the early rounds of them fights who was a better fighter. Do you know what I mean? It just became a battle of energy then. But
Yeah,
like in terms of actual technique and that, who's really tested Khabib? Dustin's probably the most. Maybe Conor won a round against him. That Aloy Quinta, people blow that up, and the Michael Johnson thing annoys me. He barely tickled him. If you think that's like, oh look, he got rocked, he didn't fucking get rocked. He was just lost balance for a second. He was grand. He took him down, bossed the rest of the fight. So
I think Khabib under pressure though is like, if he can get whoever it is that's like on top level striking, that will just not be afraid of him.
Yeah.
He seemed not cower away is such a shitty way of describing it, but like I was watching the Poirier fight, and I think it was the second round. Poirier came out and just landed lovely like check right hook, or like an overhand right, like a short overhand right type thing, and instantly Khabib was falling backwards, just scrambling back just to get out of the reach of his arms, and was running. And I think if there was someone clinical enough to like take the step, cut him off, meet him there, bang. I mean, I don't want to say Conor, because Conor had a shot and he missed it.
Yeah.
Like, and Nugget knows I'm as big a fan as Conor as anyone. But like, I do think Conor on his day beats Khabib. I think it sounds so silly. The chap is 28-0 in the highest organization there is. But I think he's so beatable. I think once he gets beaten once, it's similar to the 5-minute mile or whatever. It's like nobody can do it until it was done, and then everyone could do it.
Yeah.
It's just like,
give him to my man T City Ortega. Give him to T City.
Didn't Dos Anjos look very dominant for while he was champion? Wasn't he champion for ages?
Khabib just wrestle fucked him, destroyed him.
Yeah.
With Dos Anjos.
Yeah. That was before he was champion though. But like even as a champion, and then when he lost the belt, then he didn't like on like a 3-fight lose streak or some shit. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'll check it now. 1 sec.
I just can't bet against Khabib. Like, he's 28 now, as you said, and like,
I'm telling you now, there's a knockout coming. I'm telling you now, he's gonna get sparked, and it might just because I don't like to do it. Like, obviously, I've never fucking met him, but just I don't know. Like, I feel like he's a bit of a. I feel like he's just like a bit of a whiny bitch. Like the way he's like. Oh, I don't know. It just fucking.
But then
again, very
like
fake.
If I look at Conor, like, you got bashed, but don't keep on saying you should have done this or you should have done that. Just get up and keep on training again. Like, exactly. I love him as well, but it's like your actions speak out louder than your words. Obviously, Conor's words has gotten where he is a lot of the time because he's so good at promoting himself. But
this is a new Conor though. This is like pro wrestling fucking heel to face turn. Like, this is what's after happening. Yeah, like he was like this heel bit tweeter, baby face, or whatever you want to call him. Or he was a tweeter.
It was a great performance against Cowboy. But
but now he's like reinvented himself. He was hugging Cowboy, his granny and all. See this? He's there saying God bless everyone and all this.
That's a weird.
All this shit. It's like Jab comes off like the session, and now he's like, God bless everyone, like, and hugging grannies, and it's fucking brilliant. I love it.
You see the picture of him with Putin? It'll be him and the Pope next. Just like
him and the Pope. I loved it. I don't know. It's fucking defamation laws in fucking Ireland, so we better not say that. But honestly, man, there's defamation here. People get sued to bits. In America, you can say what you like because of that freedom.
It's Nuggets podcast, so it's all right.
It's all right. Yeah,
is it? Yeah, we're actually all Americans.
Don't worry about it.
Well, the guy interviewed, and what he said was they were asking him about Conor's new persona. He was an American dude, and he was like, "Yeah, I love no coke Conor. I love no coke Conor. He's the best." I just thought it was hilarious.
But like, it's just crazy. It's crazy because, like, Tony Ferguson, the amount of pressure he puts on people, he throws, and it's the weirdest thing ever. He throws like punches and kicks at the same time as well. He's a weirdo. The chap's an absolute psycho.
What's that Wu Chung shit? Is it? What's it called?
Yeah, but like, I just like, I need to see the two of them. Like, Tony's on like an 11-fight like win streak, and Khabib's obviously on to see it, and it's supposed to happen 5 times. I just need to see it. If Gaethje is well capable of flatlining Tony, he has some power, but it's like, I just need to see it happen. I really do. I just need to see it happen.
Aloy Quinta is interesting as well. I'd like to see him fight. He's fought for before, has he?
He fought Khabib for the title. Remember, he stepped in.
Yeah. Which he didn't do too badly either.
No, he
See,
didn't.
actually, one thing interesting from that fight, did you notice? And I think I seen it in the Conor fight as well. Khabib gets tired as well. When he's not on top,
When he's made do something
he
that
hasn't
he's
fought
not
many
used to doing.
5-round fights.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the third, he's getting tired, and in the fourth, he is tired. So this whole thing about like he's an animal, he's just a gas tank. I don't know whether he
I
has a
don't believe it.
5-round gas tank like that. I think if someone can weather the storm for 3 rounds and
If someone
still
can
have
avoid
some
getting
remnants
taken
of
down.
KO power in the fourth or the fifth, they can beat him. Do you know what I mean?
That's
That's
the
why I think
problem,
maybe
though.
Ferguson can do that. If
Yeah.
Ferguson can just take a hiding for 3 rounds and then just drag him into deep water,
He
and
can't.
then just
Tony for it.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
that's how
Tony. I think Tony
he'd be
beats him in the fourth or the fifth. I think if Khabib does get beat, he'll be in the fourth or the fifth. Because I'm telling you, he doesn't have this gas tank people think he has. I don't
know
think
if
so.
that's necessarily something that people lord about, though.
Hey
Like when
boys,
people are
guess what?
talking about,
I'm gonna have to interrupt
Yeah.
again. There's a
We
minute.
done?
A minute left. We go on to a new one, and we continue.
Yep.
yeah, I don't
Super.
mind Jag one.
Right, I'll send you the link now again. Right. Sorry
Sounds
about this. Ta-ra.
Yep.
Super. Actually, will I? I say we'll be able to compile all this, will I? If you,
Yeah.
Edit it together.
yeah. Alright, cool.
That's I'd say you'd be better off like looking through it and figuring out what's actually worth keeping, though, because you've talked some amount of shit.
Bro, the amount of show I've taught on other podcasts, and it doesn't even matter. I'll just whack it all up there. There needs to be context to it. What we were talking about, you were saying something
Khabib's
there.
gas tank.
Khabib's gas tank, yeah.
No, just that I don't know if that's necessarily, like, when people talk about him being so good, I don't think, like, one of Ferguson's massive talking points is the fact that he just doesn't get tired.
Mm.
Like, that's one of his, like, main things. I think Khabib is just the fact he's unbelievable. And he just takes souls. Like, I don't think people are like, oh yeah, he just doesn't get
That
tired.
Barboza fight, man. Oh my god.
Abuse.
Looks like, do you know what it looks like? And I know it's probably been said a million times, but have you ever seen like the moment? Have you ever watched one of them animal shows, like one of them fucking nature shows? And there's a moment where like a predator is taking down prey.
He's like
And
looking back
the
at him.
camera just zooms in on the prey, and there's just a moment where the prey gives up kicking, and just accepts it, and it's like you can see the look in their eyes, you know, like a gazelle or a snake like wrapped around some fucking
Yep.
thing, and I think goes, do you know what? Fuck it, I had a good run. I'm too tired. This is
Right.
done. And it was like
Right.
there's a bit in it where Khabib's on top of Barboza. I think he's gone up against the cage a little bit, and Barboza's face is just like, do you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm the prey and you're the fucking hunter here. Like,
Oh, he's unbelievable. I just think like that fight, Tony Khabib has to happen. But better move on to the other ones as well. We could talk about this for another 40 minutes. Cejudo and Dominic Cruz. I love Dominic Cruz in particular, but I can't see him winning this one. What do you think?
Henry has to be.
Yeah, there's
Can't see him winning.
all logic points towards Cejudo.
Yeah,
He's
like,
very, very good.
People
He
forget
said
how good DC
that division's
is.
still gone here. Look, I like UFC and mad into it now, but I'm not the type of person you can quiz over these things. But the flyweight division's still a thing, isn't it? Like they were going to get rid of it. Right?
Oh, man.
They were going to get rid of it. That's why he saved it.
He said it.
The king of cringe.
Because who was your man? Fucking Jesus Johnson, wasn't it? Was that his name?
Yeah,
DJ,
yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
legend he was. He was another wizard. But
Yeah. Cejudo's quality, man. He's so
yeah,
good.
he's very good.
His wrestling is just unbelievable. But like when he fought Marlon
Gold
Moraes,
medalist, like you can't.
yeah, like
You think Dominic though, like, could be his kind of kryptonite, man? That fucking weird style Dominic has. When's he ever gonna face something like that?
Yeah, see, that's the thing with that is whatever he beat TJ. Cejudo beat TJ.
yes,
Yeah.
He did it how quickly. So how much of a fight has he had against somebody that's like 135 pounds? Like the Mariah's fight was super close for a while, and then whatever he took over. But it's just DC has been out so long now that it's hard to know where he is. It's been what, 4 years or 3.5 years? It was the Garbrandt fight was his last fight. So there's just a lot of variables, but that's why the sport is fun, man.
It's crazy though.
Yeah.
Like Cejudo, like his wrestling was obviously like it's Olympic gold level wrestling. It's undeniable. but his striking.
Yeah.
He started that new stance obviously a good few fights ago now. It was like a karate style stance, but he's just sensational. His striking is unbelievable as well. Like,
Weird how that happens, man. It's weird how you see these wrestlers. Like fucking DC is another one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's such a high level. Did he win bronze in the Olympics? I know he definitely was in the Olympics.
Yeah,
for wrestling.
Olympics.
I don't know what he did place, did he? Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
He did, yeah.
I love his striking. That kind of stand and bang, dirty boxing. Like, he uses it a lot. Like that's
the hand over the back of the head.
Seeing this. Yeah. Like that Miocic fight with the first one. Oh my god, that was fucking fatality, wasn't it? Oh my god, this little short elbow, get a load of that, son.
Well, like,
fucking legend.
It was so odd. Like, it was from such a short distance. Like, he was in a clinch, and he was saying after the fight that he meant to clinch it. That's what he was looking for the whole time. It was that little short hook off the clinch, and I was just like, how? He was so close to him. How he generated that much power? I think I don't know if he landed on the temple or the chin, but wherever he caught him, like the way he hold it, unbelievable, unbelievable.
But that's why 1-2s before it set it up, like. But but like, isn't Dillashaw? He's got like his background's wrestling as well. Did you ever see his striking? It's beautiful to watch.
He's with Wayne Ludwig.
Wayne Ludwig,
striking coach. He's just sensational. He says like that's like a real systematic approach. I remember listening to him on Rogan before, and the way like he just calls out numbers like whatever, like 1, 3, 4 or something, and he'll just throw this mad combination. Wouldn't even be like a straight. Like,
it's all coded. That's like, I think part of the reason for that was it's like if you shout out 1, 2 during a fight,
they know what's coming.
The other lad can hear you as well. So it's just like they had their own kind of language. It's an interesting approach. Completely.
How like pissed off would you be, Cody Garbrandt, and then finding out that he was juicing? Imagine how pissed off you'd be after taking them losses like that against someone that you don't like you don't like each other, and to have that pride bruised on 2 separate occasions, and in the way it happened, and then for it to come out then that the dude was juicing, like. I mean, in a way, he's probably happy because it gives him kind of an out there. Do you know what I mean? It kind of gives him that back. And it might be kind of like, oh, well. But in another way, you kind of have to be like, you fucker did that to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Ting said it in an interview with George St. Pierre about people who are juicing. It's basically bringing a weapon into the fight. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and he was talking about how, like, you know, you say us. In martial arts, you say us. And he was like,
respect.
I'm going to butcher. Yeah, it's respect. I'm going to butcher it here. But he's basically like saying, when you say that, you basically say that we're going to respect each other in this fight, and we're not going to use weapons.
It's martial arts.
I mean? Yeah, it's martial arts. That's what it means. And this is what I'm butchering his what he said. But basically saying that when you take steroids, that's essentially what you're doing. You're bringing a fucking crowbar. You're bringing in brass knucks.
Onto a knife fight.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that annoyed me so much about Garbrandt though is like. He against the first fight against Dillashaw, it was like he had knocked Dillashaw and everything, and then obviously he got caught, fair enough. But into the second fight, just swinging, he just gets so emotional. But then the last fight, I can't remember who was it against, but oh my god, he got clipped, and all of a sudden he was just swinging, and there was no control, and it was just 50-50. Whoever was getting caught was getting knocked out. But you can just see him. He just turns, like his eyes just go red, and he just starts swinging. But like it annoys me so much. Like, look at him.
I see something like that happening with Ferguson tomorrow and Gaethje. Is that there'll be a big shot land, and like so I was watching Gaethje versus Barboza there earlier as well, and he just lands this shot. Gaethje lands this shot. You can see whatever Barboza's really obviously hurt, takes a step back towards the cage, and Gaethje jumps in on top of him and eats a shot on the way in, and then just stands there, completely square-footed, just digging him. And eating shots.
Hard, man.
So one of them goes down.
It's so hard not to do that. I mean, like it's like I've only ever rocked someone once, and I just emptied the gas tank after. Just fucking straight punches the whole time. Just emptied the gas tank, and then didn't knock him out. And then looked at him like, to fight you for a minute. There's a minute left in the round. I'm like, fuck. We coach in the corner. Keep calm, pressure on. I'm gonna fall over on that turret, man. No, this isn't happening. Like, luckily, he was bollocks as well, so I didn't have to deal with it. But
imagine
fucking hell.
Imagine
You
doing
just see the head knocked back, and you're like, this is it. You see your name in lights, you're like, I'm a mad bastard now. Look at this man, fucking swing.
Contract.
Imagine swinging like that, hell for leather, and imagine the person then coming back at you is Francis Ngannou.
Ah,
Oh no, stop.
that's what nightmare them
Don't talk like that.
What way do you think that goes? That fight?
There's no
I
point
think I'd
people
take
getting
him, man.
away fights.
I think I'd take him in a poetry reading contest.
I was like, what? I was like, who? Rosenstruck will take him? I think Ngannou just knocks your man Rosenstruck out.
Eddie Hall versus Ngannou. That's what I want to see.
Oh wait, who's your man that's fighting Eddie Hall? That's the big mountain fella.
Thor. Yeah.
Fuck them fighting. I want to see him fight a fucking gorilla or some shit. Like they were. I want to see him fight a grizzly bear or something. Like I mean, like I'm not completely.
Let them team up.
Sorry, maybe not a male gorilla, but I think he beats a female gorilla. Like female gorilla is like 70 kilos. Just throw them in there. Throw a bit of money at that. You know what I mean?
See what happens.
I think honestly, we're not taking advantage of this. This person is a mutant. He is a massive individual. Let's have some interspecies fighting going on here. Let's find out what we are capable of.
Dana will do it on his private island. No bother. Send a text.
Yeah, fair.
I'm only messing. Peter are going to be sending us all messages now. No,
Yeah, that's on
don't
you.
be whoa!
It's all a legend.
If you were to do something like that, how would you think it might go out? You know what I mean?
Oh man, no, like that Ngannou fella. Like I seen him. There was a video of him a few weeks ago when the last card was supposed to happen, but he was standing beside Shaquille O'Neal, and I don't know why. But, like Francis Ngannou just turned around, he's laughing, like they shook hands, like right, see you later, dude. But Ngannou just picked him up by one leg, just got him and was lifting him up, and Shaq landed back on his feet. He would just turn around to the camera. And was like, "That's the first time a guy has ever done that to me." They just walked off. And Ngannou was just smiling there.
Man,
the head
I've never seen Shaq, but I've seen one of his runners when I was honestly, it's about that big. I mean, we are talking about runners here.
In our school, have one of his shoes.
What's it?
Someone in our school, I don't know who it was, a teacher or something, or else it was a student, has one of his shoes. Man, oh my God, I'm only after remembering that.
There's about 5 in my shoes. It's 10.
Oh, I'm going to take that down. There's someone I know has his shoes. Oh my God. Someone in my school.
I mean, you got fed porkies, I'd say, bro.
Oh man, no, honestly, it's so...
Come on, this is definitely Shaquille O'Neal's shoe.
No, they got a picture with him,
really?
And my dad, back to your dad.
My dad's John Cena, so I doubt it.
Right, so there's that fight, and then obviously
Jamie Stevens versus Calvin Kattar.
That's a good fight. That's a good fight.
Greg Hardy versus Jorgen De Castro.
Cerrone
versus Pettis. Pettis versus Cerrone is a good fight.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's interesting. Cerrone's still fucking just fighting. Like
he's 3 on the slide now.
Yeah.
So I don't think even
though.
Yeah, they're not going to get rid of him. But if he loses again, what does he do? Like fights Conor again.
And this is a kind of like a better Pettis than before, isn't it? Like,
well, they're fighting at 170.
Right.
Even still,
that's what it was.
Like Pettis is just an interesting one, isn't he? Like he comes out and just like sparks fucking Wonder Boy, and then has that knock against Ferguson.
Yeah.
But
he's on the way out.
He's just a bit inconsistent, is he?
Yeah. Like I mean, he's been around for so long.
Yeah, he's been champion.
73 years of age, like.
I think Pettis, the cater though
lost to Diego Ferreira, lost to Nate Diaz, knocked out Wonder Boy, lost to Ferguson, beat Chiesa, lost to Poirier. So he's like win loss.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I like Pettis. I like him as fire.
That's like if he beats Cerrone in any sort of fashion in like the first round, it doesn't even need to batter him. Even if he just clips him and knocks him out, I could see Conor and Pettis fighting.
Yeah. I think that's a good fight for Conor. Being honest, I think Conor beats him. Considering what Max Holloway did to him, I think Conor is like a better version of Max Holloway in a way. You know what I mean? So I think he beats him fairly handily.
I think it's like, again, me and you, Adam, are like self-admitted fanboys of Conor. Nugget less so, but it's just I'd like to see him have one more like gimme fight. So like as bad as it is to say about a former world champion in Anthony Pettis, that's a gimme fight to Conor at this stage in their careers.
Yeah.
And then depending on how the cards fall with this fight tomorrow night and what Khabib's at, I'd like to see Conor and Khabib then after that one. I wouldn't want to see him fight Masvidal. I think he beats Masvidal. I do.
No, I don't think so.
Masvidal's the only American that I've ever been genuinely intimidated by, and I don't mean that. But like Americans aren't generally intimidating, are they? Even ones that I recognise, obviously,
they're just corny.
They shit out of me. Yeah, they're corny. Even obviously like a huge percent of the population will batter me, but like. They're just not like I'd be taking a hiding off them, but I just wouldn't be afraid of them while they're doing it. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just
like you just understand what it is.
Some Russian being like, I will break you. You're like, all right, I believe you. John, some mad Polish, even English people, like you kind of be like, there's a bit of intimidation there, as much as it pains me to say that, but you know what I mean. And then like obviously Irish people, but with Americans, I don't know what it is. They're just not. They're not scary.
You're not any scarier than me. You're just a better fighter than I am.
But like I seen a picture of Poirier and Masvidal, and Poirier's
Masvidal's a different case.
Like Masvidal is huge compared to Poirier. You should see it. Like there's a picture of the two of them. When I was looking at him, I was like, "What the?" Like I know.
Is he? Yeah.
Oh, like he's huge. Like head and shoulders above height wise, and then the width of his shoulders and everything. He's just massive. I was looking at him like, "There's no way he can fight Conor. No way." Like he is huge. He's massive.
Yeah, I think that's a bad fight for Conor.
He was a 155er as well, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I can't believe he was, because I looked at that picture beside Poirier and I was like, "That's not Masvidal." I was like, "There's no way that's Masvidal." Because they trained together, like in Florida. But yeah, like for Conor, I think Pettis that'd be another good fight. Like it's like another step up from Cowboy, but it's not jumping straight to Tony Ferguson or Khabib, which is important, I think.
I don't know. I'd like to see him fight Ferguson next. I think he beats Ferguson. I don't think that's it. I think he just tags him. I don't know. I wouldn't be. I think Masvidal has a bigger test for Conor, because Masvidal he just won't be. Like I know maybe some people overhype Conor's ability to get in his opponent's head, and maybe that's gone now with his new religious persona. But like, I just don't see. I feel like Masvidal would love that fight. That is it. Like he would not give a rat, and especially because he's such a journeyman as well. So like he doesn't give a fuck. Like he has nothing to lose there, whereas Conor does. You know what I mean? I don't know how much that psychology plays into the fight, but I don't know. I think Masvidal. I think Masvidal beats Conor. I think another kind of.
I don't think it happens though. I think Masvidal kind of blew his chance, and like in the weirdest or silliest way possible. He was just trying so hard when he was in the crowd at the Cowboy fight. He showed up in his Versace robe and cutting around, just like he bought into his own hype so massively that it was just like we were saying, just corny. It was just like awful.
See Dana though during the week, he said the Usman fight and Masvidal isn't going ahead. They have something bigger. So
I mean, but Dana.
I know he said a lot of stuff and it doesn't carry through, but it's like I think Masvidal would pick a fight with Conor way over than pick a title fight with Usman. I think.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Conor decides. Is the truth of it. Like
but like, I don't know. Like it's just I wouldn't see him beat him like if it happened, I'd love it. I'd absolutely love it. I'd love if he knocked him out. But I think the Pettis fight is much more suitable. That Calvin Kattar and Stevens fight is overlooked. That's a quality fight. That's really, really good.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
Like your man Zabit Magomedsharipov, he fought Calvin Kattar, and Kattar, if it went another 3 rounds, would have beaten 100%. Like
that's that fella who has that weird striking style, isn't it? Like he's just like
Abraham Lincoln. That good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's mad. I think he's really, really good.
Is he one of Khabib's boys?
Yeah.
He's just one of the Dagestani fighters,
Yeah.
But
that's a weird neck of the woods, that Dagestan place. Fuck me. That is a weird neck
for sure.
Yeah.
Isn't it like
mad?
that's just
crazy.
I don't know.
I think
what was I gonna say there?
That's gone way under the radar. Like Stevens obviously has mad power. He's really, really powerful. But Kattar is just his boxing is just slick. I can't remember though. Did Stevens lose to Hanato Moicano? I know Calvin Cater did, but like Hanato Moicano
Well,
was
Stevens has
brilliant.
lost his last 3, hasn't he?
Has he? Yeah, he lost to Aldo, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah,
He lost to
body shot.
Aldo. He lost to Magomed Sharapov as well. He lost to Zabit,
Yes.
and then he lost to Yair Rodriguez.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
So he had won 3 and has lost 3, and I think Tar is coming off the Zabit loss.
Yeah. That's
where I think
going to be a good fight. Otherwise, I don't care. I just hope Greg Hardy gets sparked. I hate that guy. I've heard about him. I hate him.
he's hard not to hate. In fairness,
he's just.
You know this chap Adam.
No, who was it?
Was he in the NFL? Was
He's
it?
in the NFL, but he's
he bet his wife or something, like he was charged for like beating up his missus.
Fucking scumbag.
Yeah, he's whatever 5-2 now, just this absolute unit of a heavyweight, but just keeps. He was in the Contender Series and was just sparking people out in 30 seconds.
Just because he's
Jesus. It's weird how some people just have that. Like fighting is an interesting sport. I feel like obviously there's huge amount of technique that goes into it and all, but like every now and again you're just gonna get a Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? Like Brock Lesnar's wrestling is great. You know what I mean? Like he's not a DC where he has, you know, Olympic wrestling or a Henry Cejudo. He's not one of them characters. He's just a freak of nature, and he decided, I'm just gonna do this. And then, do you ever see, like, I might get some shit for saying this, but his fighting style is fucking weird looking. His striking looks
He's so
strange.
boxy. His everything, yeah.
So weird. He just like runs at people. You know what I mean? And just fucking breaks them.
Was it the Shane Carwin fight? It looks like he throws the most like an Eddie Hall jab. Like a chap he's big and throws his jab and folds and backflips across.
That Alistair Overeem fight, maybe I think he was sick at the time as well.
It's diverticulitis. That's why he still has it.
But I mean, that just showed the levels. I mean, like, then he comes back against Mark Hunt, and like, I know he was juicing and all, he got done, but like, that looked pretty good. Like, that looked decent.
The worst wrestler ever, or just avoids the grapple.
yeah.
But like honestly,
OG though.
Whoever, Johnny Man, Verdun was fighting Alex. I don't know how to pronounce Olleinks or something, but whoever that Alex Olleinks, I don't know how to say now. Whoever his manager is the worst manager of all time. I was saying this to my mate earlier today. Like, if you think about it, your man has got like, I think he's like 50-13 or something. His record is unbelievable, but he's like 40 submissions. And it's mainly that like Ezekiel choke, like without the gi. Like, it's crazy what he gets it from mount, he gets it from being mounted. He catches it everywhere. He catches it from standing.
Yeah, he's 58-13.
Yeah, but they give him possibly the best heavyweight grappler in the division, who's also whatever. He's had a few years laid off because of the steroids or whatever, but they give him arguably the best black belt in heavyweight history, and he's also a decent striker. Like the worst manager of all time. The only thing he can do is submit people with that.
That's just go fighting, like.
That's
what you want to see.
Smokes him. Like, it just seems pointless.
Well, you reckon Verdun will go through him?
Yeah.
I don't.
What do you think? Like,
I'd say it'll be just. It'll be a shite heavyweight fight, as most of them are. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. But like. Yeah, and then you have Jacare Souza versus Uriah Hall.
Another snoozer, I'd say. I do enjoy Souza's striking, so it's not like that. But I think in all of MMA, like if there was a bed shitter title, it'd go to Cowboy Cerrone or Uriah Hall.
Yeah,
it's just a chap that is like, you'll give him the most gimme fight in the world, Uriah Hall, and he will just fuck it.
Yeah.
In any way, lose. I saw him fight in Belfast.
All right.
And I'm ready. Oh, was it Musasi? I think it was Musasi who was fighting. And we're like, this is going to be a sick fight. And he got like sparked out in like 40 seconds or something.
He's still like,
it was.
that guy has in my opinion, the worst, like best/worst
The knockout.
in history of MMA on the Ultimate Fighter, the spinning back kick. Did you see it, Adam?
Yeah,
It's
unbelievable.
absolutely frightening. But like,
It was kind of like a side kick. It was like a spinning side kick, and yeah, wasn't it? Didn't he just
He
like,
didn't even extend out his leg. Yeah.
yeah,
oh,
unbelievable.
like I thought the guy had died. I was actually like, okay,
Yeah,
that's actually going to be
fatality.
disturbing.
Did I remember that wrong? I think Uriah Hall won that fight. No, wait, what? Or did they? Oh, they might have.
Stinker everybody.
Oh, they reran it. Never mind.
Um,
They must have fought twice because I'm looking at Uriah Hall's record here, and he has a win over. Yeah, he has a win over Masasi, and then he has a 23-second loss or something to Masasi.
Yeah, like if that fight, if like Souza, I don't think like he's good at striking, but he has to get it to the ground. Like his level of jiu-jitsu was just obviously outstanding, but like I don't think he wins it if it doesn't go to the ground. But either way, it's going to be some card. We're not forgetting anything really. I don't think, are we?
Well, what story of Bellator? Are they still what's going on over there?
At the minute, they're just rerunning stuff. They have no events. I was gutted that Pedro Carvalho fight got put.
This is about to bring it
I
up.
was gutted over that.
Yeah, I
and
like
that's
Pedro.
Pedro's some man.
Yeah, he's sound.
Do you think he stood a chance in that fight? Obviously.
Oh, Pedro.
Yeah.
I've heard stories
He's
about
just one of
Pedro
those.
sparring people. I was in the gym before and watching Pedro spar. I don't fucking talk shit, but sparring some people and doing very, very well against some UFC guys in the gym. And like really, really high level. But then again, I've heard from other people who are on the pro team and SPG who said that he's not that good in the gym, but he just turns it on and fights. So, but when I was there that day, he was he's very high level. I like him. He's sound as well. Like you say hello to him, he'll speak to you. Like I mean, some people in the gym mightn't talk to you that much, but he'll like proper have a conversation with you. Sound guy. But that was a fight I'm looking forward to.
He was fighting. Was he fighting Cage Legacy when we were there at Tala there? I don't know. Or maybe I don't know.
He did fight in Cage Legacy, yeah. He fought the lightweight belt in Cage.
That was a knock, actually.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think.
Some Russian chap or something.
Yeah, the small cage helped the wrestler a lot more though. Your man was a wrestler. Small cage, but
you're saying that, but Peter Queally headlined the first Cage Legacy as well, like.
Yeah.
Oh, against your man. Who was he fighting?
Decky Dalton.
Was it Enroy?
Decky Dalton.
Decky Dalton, yeah.
Nate Enroy. I fucking grappled him in DCU, my first ever grappling tournament.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
The big huge. He's from your neck of the woods, isn't he? There. You know him?
No, he's not. He's not from.
He trained in SPG, tell it.
He was in SPG.
Played rugby, I think.
He was huge. I just
big boy, right.
didn't
big boy.
regard anything about my weight. So I was like 77 kg and he was like 88. And I was like, what am I after getting myself into here? Oh,
88, did you say?
Yeah, like I was in a division.
Probably about 108, man.
No,
I think you're mixing him up with someone else, bro.
Yeah.
Right, he was 90, right.
Big beard. He trained with Paddy Hoolan, D24. He was like a
kickboxer. Nate Enroy. Yeah. No, Nate, yeah. I was thinking of your other fucking fella. He's a culty fella. He's from Galway. He's a big, huge heavyweight. What's his name?
Blonde guy. I know him.
Ryan Spillane. He's from Cork.
No, not Spillane. I know him as well.
No?
Is this guy you're on about living in Dublin, though?
Airgroy. I can't remember his name now. Okay.
Oh,
but yeah, your man Airgroy. Where is he now? Because I haven't seen him up in D24.
Pretty sure he's in England. I think he's with his girlfriend in England, yeah. But
fucking look now, boys. We're just chatting about fights, like. I know the guy you're on about now. Adam, I'm just trying to find his name. It's like EORAUGHT or something mad like that. Hold on. You keep talking.
Yeah, if Carvalho had won, that would have been obviously delighted for him. But your man Pitbull's an absolute beast, isn't he?
Yeah, and there's a Grand Prix going on as well, I think. So, like, they're going to fight for the title, and then there's all these other fights going on. I think your man, what's his name? Brian, the Hitman Moore, something his name is.
Yeah, Brian Moore.
Brian
Pikeman.
Moore, yeah. What is it? The Pike Man.
Mm.
Yeah, because he's from
Pikey.
Wexford. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he's in that as well. And like him and Pedro
I
are
don't know
like.
if he's...
Yeah.
No,
Is
because
he not?
Brian's fighting at 135 now.
Yeah.
He's in the same.
Actually, something that we might talk about is why, someone might be able to enlighten me here, but why hasn't James been given a title shot yet? James Gallagher.
I think that's more James's own vision of his development.
Yeah.
Like if you
I'd say
hear
so.
James talk about when he's ready for it, he's like, I'll fight whoever, but he's like, it's like, when are you ready for a title shot? He says like another year or 2 years. He's what, 22? He's
So
23.
young. So young.
There is no rush for him to fight for a world title.
Yeah.
Like,
But
and
so
he's
is Pedro.
what? Yeah.
Pedro's
But,
younger
like,
than me.
Pedro.
40.
I think the
Yeah,
kick
he's
to the
got-
face
I
humbling
asked,
goal,
like,
isn't
actually,
it?
I was doing work experience in there, and I was with Mark Humsky doing work experience there, and he was doing strength and conditioning with him. And I was talking to Pedro. I was like, "Oh, what age are you?" And he goes, "I was
Like
22
24.
at the time." He was like, "I'm 22." I was like, looking at him. I thought he was joking. I thought he was going to start laughing. So I was like, and he was like, no, I'm 22. And then Wojciech came over and was like, "Look at me. I'm 38. Look, 21. He's 21. He's 38. He does though, man. He has a
Yeah,
young, like,
he's-
he has a kid. He's on gaff and all. Like, chat. We're the same age. I think he's actually a little bit younger than me. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
That's funny.
He's the hairline.
He probably
of a
just
football
wanted the
player.
title shot and just take it with both hands, I suppose.
But that's it. It's like,
Yeah.
if you're put into $1 million tournament, like, you're not going to say no. And I'd say James is comfortably on more money than him, so
James
the
making
pressure is less.
He made triple
eventing.
figures and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
apparently.
There's less.
You know
there's
what he
less
got was
pressure.
getting paid? I heard he got, like, this is fairly early. I think it was the fight where he was co-main. He got like 16 per fight and 16 per winning. I was like, it's a lot of
Not
money. I
bad.
don't think the UFC even paid that much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, for men, for young people, getting paid that for one night's work. And I think, what was it, second round submission against your man AJ Taylor or something, was it? No, it wasn't.
And to Anthony, yeah, I know the guy you're on about.
Yeah,
Your man, he fights at AJ McKee's team.
yeah.
Yes.
He's a
AJ
male.
McKay is slick. He's good though. That guy.
Did he fight Brian Moore?
Yeah, in Dublin.
Yeah,
That's and Brian was winning, but he slipped.
Yeah.
That was a good fight. I'd like to see that again, but now, well, Brian's gone down and AJ's in that Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they had announced the other Pitbull brother, Patricky, against Queally as well to headline in Dublin. So that'd be a good fight. The cards that they put on in Dublin are always whopper. I know we're biased because it's like a load of Irish lads and we're like, yup, the lads. But
That's really
The
good.
Did you ever hear about the beef in the gym? I don't know. Will we talk about it, or is this scabby?
well, we'll cut it if we need to.
I don't know. You cut it.
I think,
Go on.
right, boys, I'll leave you with this one, right?
Yeah, we'll finish up on this because we've only 7 minutes left of this call anyway.
Right. Well, I was told from a source, and like, I'm not going to name names, but I wasn't there at the time. But there was beef between Peter Queally and, I don't even know what fuck it, I'll do it. There was beef between Peter Queally and Richard Kiley. Do you hear about this, Darren?
Go on. You tell the story and I'll tell you whether or not.
I don't know if I'm being a scumbag telling this now.
That's why it won't go out if, like,
I'm not going to name names, but anyway, basically, what happened was something happened very small on the mat while they were doing drills, and it was a very, very small disagreement over. They weren't even paired up together, but there was a small
bounced
disagreement
into each
over
other or something, yeah.
and Peter pushed Richard Kiley, and Richard Kiley just turned around and slapped Peter, and so they both just started battering each other, and everyone had to come over and like separate them.
Yeah.
Like,
The thing is, though,
actually,
like, you're in an MMA gym, and I know it's like a lot of the time your ego is left on the mat or at the door, and it's like typically an MMA gym can be like one of the calmest places. Like, I know that's for me anyway, from my experience, but at the end of the day, a lot of the time people are learning how to fight, and like things like that
Especially
will
at the
happen.
high level.
You know, it's gonna happen. It's so
lads
intense.
cutting weight, lads doing this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Barry, this is another story you'll like. I was there for
Go
this
on.
one, so I can confirm that this is indeed correct. I went in one morning and before college and just was like lifting weights or some shit, just like chilling out. And there was do you remember that? Oh, I don't want to name names again, but as soon as I say who it is, you're gonna know who it is. Do you remember that huge fella? That
prototype.
huge fella. What?
The prototype.
The prototype. You know what I'm talking about? Like
I think so, yeah.
steroids, arrows, like massive.
Yeah.
Right, so he was training. He used to train with us, but he got put up to the pro team just purely because he was some like a mutant of a person. And they were drilling, and he was paired up with a fairly OG Irish MMA guy. This I won't name, but we might be able to actually release this because I'm not being a complete bollocks with it. But fairly high level MMA guy, an OG of Irish MMA. And a big guy, pretty much spelling it out for you. And anyway, they were drilling away, and after the bell went, this big, huge fella swung at him again because your man was getting the better of him. They're only drilling, they're only going light, and then the two of them started like battering each other. Of course, the big, huge fella was only there because he was so big, and he's going up against this pretty big guy as well, but an OG of the game, and just got slapped. And like loads of people had to run in and like separate these two mammoths of men. And then everyone started like fucking screaming at your man, the big fella, and pointing up at the mural that's on the wall in SPG. I was like, look who's up there, and all. Started going mad. And your man started spitting at everyone, and like spitting on the ground and like spitting around the place. And everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing? And you know who actually ran in to separate it? Jordan, Jordan. And I was like, that poor man. I was like, I'm so glad, because I was like good 20 feet away from the action. I was shitting myself. I was like, these two huge kind of screaming at each other. And then Jordan had to go and be like, lads, stop. I was like, well, like as you were saying, like I mean, when there is this, some people just fucking can't take it, man.
Yeah,
like I've had it myself.
It's a pressure cooker.
I've had it myself. Like I don't. One thing that like I found that it kind of taught me like is like some little dorky fellow will come in and he was like shit, but they'll just land on you one day. You know what I mean? And you're just looking and you're like, you can feel that your fucking ego's bruised, and it's like learning to deal with that is one of the best things I've ever learned to deal with. You know what I mean? Like you be doing well, sparring well, and then the minute this dork will come in and just land on you with terrible technique. You know what I mean? And you realise, oh shit, I'm actually not that good. I'm a dork as well. You know what I mean?
That wraps it around. I think that's a really nice point to finish it on, because we were talking about whatever, like the benefits of training martial arts, and we all kind of agreed, like if we have kids, we'd put kids into jiu-jitsu or some sort of like self-defense art. And we were talking about like being coached and all this sort of stuff, and like you were adamant that you didn't want to take away competitiveness in sports and like learning to deal with failure. And I don't think there's a sport more that equips you better to deal with failures than jiu-jitsu. It's literally 60 times a night you'll fail, but you'll shake hands and you'll get up and you'll show up the next day and you'll improve, and next time it'll be 58 times.
And here's the thing, it's like you need to realize, like when we're telling these stories, because people that might listen to this, like they wouldn't have changed, like a lot of them won't have changed jiu-jitsu or any MMA or whatever. Like we're telling these stories, but we've been doing it for years, and okay, we're at a very, like I'm speaking on behalf of myself, but I'm at a low level of jiu-jitsu. I'm still a white belt. I've been there for a few years, but it's like we see all these things happen. It happens once every blue moon. Don't be afraid of joining it. Like it's the best thing you could ever do. Like get in there, it helps build your confidence. It's great for fitness. Like, and also it's good to be able to know that if you have to defend yourself somewhere, because a lot of the time it's not your fault. Someone will just be drunk and start
and if you get really good at jiu-jitsu, it's actually like a real life superpower. Like if you get really good at jiu-jitsu, like you don't even need to fight. That you just fucking take someone down and just sit on them. Like you don't even need to hurt anyone.
You don't need to hurt them.
It's one of them martial arts that, you know, like in movies, like they just would have hyped up karate to be like, I can rip a man's heart out and show to him before he dies. All this mad shit. And we found out the UFC made us all go, okay, all these martial arts are bollocks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but with jiu-jitsu, it was like, no,
Steven Seagal.
this one's real. This one is the actual one
Yeah.
we've been looking for. It's pretty mad, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Right, boys.
I don't know, yeah, they're definitely dealing with that ego, man. Dealing with that ego and just
It's the
being like,
biggest, yeah. It helps so much.
you feel like it's bruised, and like you can see it in other people sometimes as well. When you spar them, and you might catch them, and they kind of think maybe they're a bit more of a killer than you, and you kind of see it in them. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, it's a good one.
Go ahead and plug your Instagram for us there, because we have less than a minute, so go ahead.
Oh, my Instagram at Laoch Health. I can't even remember it.
LAOCH.
Yeah, LAOCH Health. I think it is. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Laoch
And
Health.
Dara's
Warrior Health.
diamond.spc. Isn't that right?
Yeah, diamond.spc.
Deadly,
Yo,
boys. Appreciate it. Right, go on.
Some talk.
Thanks
What?
for that.
Salam.
Chat to you after.
Peace.
See you later, lads.
Ta-da.